Hello and welcome back to my channel, or just welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about two different families. We are gonna talk about the Thomas family that is living here, and then we are gonna talk about the Dreamer family that is living up here, and it's these guys. Um, but I don't have a lot more to tell you, so let's just jump into the video. And here we have another part of a Thomas family. The household is Christian Thomas and Carly Thomas and their daughter Dakota Thomas. If you look at the family tree, oh, hello, we can see that we of course have Christian Thomas, that is the youngest son of Sam and Ty. He got married with Carly Thomas, and they shortly after got Dakota. Um, I think Christian was at college 1 year, like one round before Carly, but they found each other afterwards. And Carly chose to get the Thomas name because she never really felt like she was as important for the Ramirez family as Tessa was. Um, Maybe that was just more a feeling for her than an actual thing, but she at least felt like that. Um, but yeah, this is the house they are living in. They are living in one of the Pleasantview condos. If you are wondering about the um, why it's everything is kind of all the families kind of blending together list-wise is because, or order-wise, is because I just follow my spreadsheet. So some of the families are living in Pleasantview, some are living in downtown, and some are living in Bluewater Village. But now we are back to Pleasantview again. But I think we should start with talking about Christian, and then we will see if we need to hurry up and look at Dakota before she goes to school. So here we have Christian. As you can see, he has a couple of tattoos. His dear wife Carly have too, and she really loves him, as you can see in her face. But this is how he looks. Um, he is a really neat sim, and he's really outgoing. He's quite active too, and he's really serious, and he's on the nice side. As you can see, he's really fit. That is because he owns the gym in, I think it's called 123 Gym in Bluewater Village. He bought it for not too long ago. He took a loan to be able to buy it. And as you can see, he is not. He doesn't need to pay too much back. They he in the beginning he made a lot of money from it, so I guess it was quite easy to pay the worst of it back okay easily. But yeah, in his bio it says Christian's life was fine. Nothing much happened in his childhood. His parent always had parties, so he had a lot of time with himself until his first sister Hope got born. Then he had someone to take care of, and that he did. Late into his teen years, he met his first crush, Carly. They had their first kiss, and woohoo, maybe a bit too early, but they stayed together, right? Well, no, Carly seemed to be busy elsewhere, so Christian yet again just had his time for himself. He got some friends and went to uni where things were nice. He even passed all his classes, but Carly had his eye the whole time. In the end, she came to him, and that teen crush was finally met with mutual feelings. Shortly after uni, they moved together, and Christian got to his knee and asked the big question. And it was a yeah. Oh, no. A no. Oh, no, no. It was a yes. Yeah. At least second time. Then the wedding, and now a little girl in their arms. Will they keep their happiness? So his relationship with Carly wasn't like rocky, but they were never really completely sure it would be them. Or he kind of knew, but she needed to find out what she wanted in life. But he ended up getting her in the end, at least for now. He's a popularity sim, and I think he has been that from the beginning. Yes, he has. Um, if we look into his memories, we can kind of see. I have just now got the mod that made this not a thing, so there is so many. I met this person. Sadly, it doesn't remove the old ones, so there's a lot of them still. But at least I got it now for the future. Um, yeah. It seems like the first one he really went okay. He went out with Mike Tinker. But the first he was with was Carly, and I'm pretty sure that's the girl he has been with for the whole time, pretty much. When he went to college, she was there, and they had a little bit of time together. Um, but she still tried to find out what she needed to do and stuff like that. And he was like, "Well, I can wait a little bit longer. Maybe she's gonna come back to me, maybe not." Um, as you can see, she ended up coming back to him, and they had a really good date together. He asked her to get married, and she denied in the beginning. Um, and he was actually sure that he needed to just give up at that point. But he tried one last time. I think even in the same evening, he asked her, like, "Are you sure? Because I feel like we really have a future together, and we could be really happy together." And I guess that was enough for her to say, "Okay, well, let's try, let's do it." Um, which made it a great date. They ended up moving in together. Um, I think that I moved them in and then took them out and then moved them in again. But they moved together and they got married. Um, and shortly after they got Dakota. And from there, things has just slowly been building up. He ended up buying the business, the gym, and then he quit his job. And that is kind of, yeah, he was a social worker before, and now he quit his job. And that is why he meets so many people, because he says hi to everyone so he can make them go to the gym. um, and he also got best friends with the cat Kim. He's a good salesman now. And I think that's just the way it's gonna continue for now. Hopefully, no more of these annoying messages. um, and I feel like he's just happy where he is, and he doesn't need anyone else. I feel like I need him to invite his parents over so they can meet Dakota, but he's just busy with his life. He just wants to be himself, like always. He has always been himself, so he's just gonna continue going that way. Now he at least has Carly at his side. And then we have Carly standing beside his dear husband. As you can see, she's quite neat. She's quite outgoing. She's in the middle of lazy and active. She's serious and a little bit more nice. Her bio says Kylie was a happy kid, very much innocent. She loved her sister and her parents, though sometimes it felt like she was alone. Her sister was very much in focus, and if not her, it was the business. So when Carly went into her teen years, she was was out a lot. She even had a fling with one of the goth boys. At one point, the young goth was her life. Was her life, yeah. And what a win. Rich and so nice, and he even looked really good. But he also talked a lot with other girls. And oh, he also kissed them. This really crushed the young Carly, and she went into some dark moments. Until she met Christian. Much more poor and from a family she never really had heard of. Um, but he seemed to really care. They had their first kiss and even woohooed, and Carly actually thought this was the right way to go. Well, just until a young goth came back and the fling started again. They even went steady, and Carly saw her dream as the new Miss Goth in her future. Um, did it really end there? and it didn't. As you can see, she ended up with Christian anyways. Carly, she's the youngest kid from the Ramirez family, and even though she really liked her sister, she really loved her sister, and she even loved her parents a lot. She knew that the house and the business was gonna go to Tessa, and she knew that she would never be important enough. At least she didn't feel like she was gonna be as important as Tessa. That was also why she said, well, I can take the Thomas name. She was prepared to take the Goth name. um, but I feel like she maybe kind of felt forgotten. Um, and that's, I kind of hope that she would end up being good friends with Brody, who is Tessa's son, that is, if you remember, feels quite alone and misses his mom a lot of the time because of the business. Even though the Ramirez business is going really well and it's a good thing for the family, it's also a negative thing because the children kind of feel left out and maybe a little bit forgotten. But if we look into Carly's memories, we can see the whole drama with the goth boy and who the goth boy is. The goth boy is Tim, the goth I have a hard time to talking about at the moment, at least. Um, he is also a romance sim, so I knew from the beginning this was gonna be hard for Carly. But she had her first kiss with him, and she fell in love. And shortly after, she apparently kissed Christian. But I feel like that was just because she maybe knew that he was with other people, like Tim was kissing other women and stuff like that, and she was like, well, I cannot tie him down. He's just gonna do what he wants, and maybe she was a little bit insecure too. So she was instead she I wouldn't call it a rebound, but kind of. But at least he fell into Christian's arms, and they had their first woohoo together. And I feel like that was actually a good thing for Carly because Christian was really nice about it, and they had a good time together, and they took in their own pace. And it was a good for her that she even fell in love. Um, but she ended up in the end going steady with Tim instead anyway. Um, he came back to her and said, "Hey, I'm here. I like you," and they went steady. I guess he told her that he was done flirting around, and she believed him. Um, and they even had a woohoo together. Shortly that after that, that didn't go too long before she went to college, and at college she had a little fling with George, one of the dormies. But at the same time, she was there with Christian, and she couldn't stop looking at him. She just remembered how nice he was at their first woohoo, and he was always thinking about her and like taking her feeling uh, into consideration, and he had always just been there for her. Um, so after college, after she graduated, she went on a date with him, and it was really good, and she actually felt like things were going good, and I actually think she from the beginning was ready to get engaged to him, but she said no the first time because it was like, but maybe what if, because the goth and stuff like that, it could money would be good, and it's a good name, and then she could show her family that she could do big things and stuff like that without them, but she knew that it was Christian she loved, so she ended up saying yes. And they got married, and they moved in together, and they got Dakota. um, Apparently she has shortly after Dakota met Tim again, and I hope she's gonna stop there because he is for sure not good for her. No, she doesn't even like him. or doesn't even have a crush on him. So I hope it's a done deal. Because I feel like here she can be happy and having a good life. And we will see. Just when I started this recording, I saw she had the throw up thing, so I know she's pregnant. And I really hope that this was just a kiss and not any more than that. Because I don't think that Christian will accept if her new baby is not gonna be his. Much he can say yes to a lot. Oh, okay, that was okay. He can say okay for a lot, but not everything. He has some self-respect. So yeah, let's look at Dakota. And here we have Dakota. She's just going to school. She is super, super neat. She's outgoing. She's okay, quite active. She's very serious and she's very grouchy. I guess she has that from. Oh, she doesn't have that for anyone. Okay, interesting. Um, Her bio is empty because she's quite new, a new teen, so I don't know a lot about her. As I remember, she is bisexual. Yes, she is. And she is just having fun. I'm pretty sure. As you can see, she has already have some kisses. And that's with Anthony Starks. That's interesting. And she has been on a date with Brand Bear, which was a really good date. It looks like she also really wants to go out and sneak out with him. So I feel like we already now have a little bit of a romance for her. She's at the moment a fortune sim. I think she sees her dad working hard and owning a business, and for her it's like, oh, that's interesting. So I think she finds that really interesting and fun. And I think in the weekends she's probably gonna go with her dad to work to help him out with the business and see how it all works. So yeah. Other than that, she has a little bit of chemistry with a couple of boys, but nothing big. She knows a little bit of people, but nothing's like too big. So she has a lot of things that can happen from now on, and I'm looking forward to see where she goes. And I just wanted to show you how the condo looked inside. It's not too big of a deal. I think it's Don Lothario's old condo, so it's quite small. And for now, because they don't have a lot more money, it's just gonna be this. And you can see upstairs where their bedroom is. Dakota is still sleeping in the same room as her parents. And I think at some point when they get more money, I'm gonna extend it out here, so she will get her own room. Because no teenager wants to sleep in the same room as her parents. So yeah, but she's gonna be fine. We'll find out. That was how the Thomas household looked like in Pleasantview. This is one of the actual Dreamer households. The I guess it's as close as the original Dreamer household you can get. This is it. It is one of the trailer houses that I have modified a little bit. The people living here is Dirk Dreamer. Oh, Dirk Dreamer, um, Angela Dreamer, and Ulrich Dreamer, their son. If we look into the family tree here, we can see that Dirk is married to Angela, and Angela is, of course, the mother of Elias Pleasant, that we have heard about before. And then they have a child together called Ulrich. And other than that, we have Dirk also have a child called Peyton Dreamer. And if we go into Peyton Dreamer, she is the daughter of Lilith Pleasant and Dirk Dreamer. So this tells you a little bit about the story of this family. I'm gonna tell you about Lilith's story here. She went to college with Dirk and Lilith. Um, her whole teenage life she was with Dirk, and through whole college she was with Dirk. Their life were written in stone. They should be together forever, and they should be happy and stuff like that. After college, they moved in together, and quickly after they got pregnant. And Lilith ended up giving birth to Peyton, and right after she died. Lilith is one of my favorite Sims in the whole Sims story. She had been my favorite since I was a teenager, since I played it many years ago. Even though back then I didn't know anything about the history of the Sims or the, like, all the lore and stuff like that. But Lilith just hit something recognizable in me. So I was so sad when she died. And I felt like it was so harsh for Dirk. Even worse was that Dirk wasn't home when it happened, so Peyton actually got taken away. But I ended up getting her back, so Dirk could keep her as his daughter. Um, at this point, that was of course really sad. And the reason at this point he was really good friends with Angela. He got to be really good friends with her in college, even though Angela and Lilith didn't really like each other at that point. They had chilled a little bit out and didn't fight so much. So Dirk actually had the opportunity to be good friends with Angela. Um, and since Angela knew how it felt losing a loved one, because she lost Dustin when she was a teenager, she understood Dirk's pain, and besides that, she also herself lost her twin sister. That she was beginning to get somewhat, maybe not a friendship, but they were beginning to at least be able to be in the same room and have like each other in their lives. So she was of course sad of losing her twin sister, but she was also really sad for Dirk to go through that pain losing a loved one, like she did so many years ago. At that point, Angela was in a relationship with Corey Landchild, who is one of the university dormies, and they got a child around there, and they also got married at some point. I will go deeper into that when we get to that stage. Um, but she made sure to console Dirk and show him that he were not alone, and he would never be alone. Even though he had a little baby in his arms and no wife or no girlfriend or partner to help him, he at least had that little baby as a good memory of um, the loved one he had lost. So yeah, that's a really sad moment in life, but as you can see, it developed in a good direction. And to tell you more about that, I'm gonna go closer to them specifically. So let's start with Angela. Yes, so here we have Angela. As you can see, she is really close to old age. She is still a popularity sim. She is quite sloppy. She's shy. She is active, and she is playful and in the middle of grouchy and nice. In her bio, it says Angela is patient and dutiful. Her dreams of being a fishing boat captain. Um, I guess this is from the beginning. Here is what I have written. Much has happened for Angela. Her teen love died before they could go to college together. The love of her life disappeared before their life even started. In college, she met a new person, though. She quickly fell in love, and life was set. She even. Oh. she even. And life was. She even got something somewhat friendly with her sister, and her sister's boyfriend became her best friend. After college, she quickly got married, got kids, and had a happy life in the pleasant house. Then one day, Lilith suddenly died after giving birth. Angela was so surprised. She quickly met up with Dirk to console each other. Angela had been in the same place as Dirk now was. She knew the pain. Sharing their sorrow slowly changed to flirting, and their affair started. Sadly, Angela's husband found out, and their marriage quickly developed to fighting. And on their son's birthday, Angela finally ended it all. Um, so yeah, a lot have happened, as you can see. Um, she, of course, went steady with Dustin when that happened, and he died at some point in their teen years in the beginning. Um, she fought a lot with Angela, not Angela, with the Lilith back then. As much as so, Lilith actually ran away. And I feel like she fought so much with her because she wanted Dustin back. And Lilith had such a good relationship with Dirk, and maybe there was a little bit of jealousy there. Luckily, Lilith came back, and they went to college together. In college, though, the fighting didn't really stop in the beginning. It kept going and kept going. Um, but in all that fighting, she found someone that she liked. Corey was there, and that was actually the first person after Dustin that where she felt like, oh, maybe I can fall in love again, and that she did. Um, at the same time, she got really good friends with Dirk, so everything kind of fell in place, and things started to look up. She moved back home, where she got a job, and she got engaged to Corey. They had their first woohoo, and shortly after they married. So everything actually went quite well for her, and she felt like everything was going good. And she slowly started to get a friendship with her family members and her younger brother. And even though it doesn't say here, she was slowly starting to have a better friendship with Lilith. Um, Coral, of course, died in the middle of some of all this, and Herb also did. But shortly after Coral's death, which was kind of, well, all saw it coming. She was also it was what it was. But shortly after, Lilith died, and that was the moment, as we read in the bio. She ran over to Dirk, and they consoled each other. They shared their sorrow, and in the end, that ended up being more than just consoling each other. They started flirting. She fell in love with him, and they actually even woohooed at that point. When this was happening, she was already pregnant. So shortly after this flirting, she got Elias with Corey, and she really loved Elias, no doubt about that. But she just couldn't forget the feelings she had gotten for Dirk. She felt like there was finally someone that understood that pain she had for so many years ago, and they could help each other out with this loss of Lilith. So she went out with him again, even after she got Elias. She tried to keep it under control, though. She tried to not show it too much, but one day, Corey, well, he had found one of the flowers, and that had made him furious with Angela, but he hadn't said anything about it. It was first when Angela got rejected by him for a kiss, and she felt like that was kind of weird, and didn't really understand why. She went on a date again with Dirk and thought that, to tell him about what was happening, and maybe she should end it all with Corey, or tell him the truth. And Dirk was like, "Well, we could also stop if you want this good marriage you have and stuff like that. I know your family rather want you to be with Corey than me. You have a child with him, you know." Um, but at this point, it was already too late. Corey already knew. So when she came home, he started an argument. They started arguing a lot, and she ended up confessing to everything. And in the same breath, she cut it off. She broke it up, and said, "Nope, I'm not gonna stay in this." They started fighting a lot. She won this fight, and it was just not a good time in her life. And their poor son Elias was just in the middle of it all and didn't really know what to do, or yeah, what he could do even. And at the same time, Andrew was there too. He was around the same age as Elias. So he was a little bit confused of what was happening. There was so much drama in the house. Um, she ended up, she ended up staying, and Corey got not necessarily kicked out, but he got removed from the family at least. And and shortly after, she got engaged to Dirk. Um, and after that, they got married and they moved in together. At that point, it was in his apartment. That was why it said married rich, because I guess it counted the whole apartment. And after they got married, they ended up moving to this trailer that they are living in now. And there they got Ulrich. Oh yeah, to tell, I can say it here. When they were living in their apartment, her kid Elias and his kid Peyton were at the same age, almost the same age, and they was just the best of friends, and they had been the best of friends ever since. Um, so when they moved in here and they got Ulrich, Ulrich was kind of not alone, but he was like, okay, well, those big sister, my big siblings are just gonna have their time together. I'm just gonna do my thing. Um, but from here, everything kind of just went its way, and I feel like everything got more happy and good. As you can see, all the memories is quite nice. There is of course some deaths here and there, but that's mostly from old age. She didn't get hit too hardly from the death of her family members, because she knew that they had a good time with their son Andrew, and he would take the Pleasant name in further in generations. And Angela had the feeling that she had found her life here with Dirk, and everything would be good here. Yeah, and they went on a little bit of of a vacation not too long ago. I normally don't do much vacation stuff because I feel like it's stressful. But yeah, that's where they are now. Lily apparently got abducted. Let's look about or look more into Dirk. So here we have Dirk. He is of course the son of Darren, Dreamer. He was He was with Lilith from the beginning and would probably still be with her now if she didn't die. But as you can see, he is, as he always is, he's a fortune son. He is quite neat, he's shy, he's quite active, quite serious, and quite nice. His bio is here. Um, the first part we of course know. Though it's been hard without his mother, Dirk has made every effort to do well in all areas of his life. Dirk finally have the family he wanted, even though it wasn't with the woman he first thought he feels at peace. Though Lilith will never leave his mind. Very short. I feel like if Lilith came back now, he would for sure still choose her. And I feel like Angela wouldn't know this, because for Dirk, Lilith was his. He, yeah, she was just the love of his life. Um, in the Dreamer home, of course, he loved his dad, but he never really felt so much at home when the Broke family moved in, you know. He, of course, got a lot of family members, and he was happy for his dad to actually be married again and finding love and stuff like that. But he didn't stay. He just couldn't he couldn't continue being in this. At this point, his the two twins hadn't been married, so when he went to college, it was like right after. Um, he never really got to know either Billy or Bo, not Brandy even. He never really got close to any of them. Of course, he went to family parties and birthdays and stuff like that, but I think he just had enough. And at college, his focus was his studies and Lilith. He of course got friends with Angela, and I think that was mostly when he tried to pull the two sisters apart, so they could stop partying so much. He even did so good that he graduated with honor. He moved out to an apartment, and that was with Lilith. Um, and yeah, there you can see. Yeah, he was at work when this happened. He just got the job that he was at, and Peyton was born. And you can see Peyton was taken away. At the same time, Lilith died. Um, it was really, really sad, and he was so hurt, so hurt. And he fought to get Peyton back. Luckily, he got her back, and the social workers let him be, because they could see that it wasn't his fault, and if he could be a good dad, well, then it should be good, right? In the same year that, or at least the same season that Lilith died, Angela, of course, came to Dirk and consoled him, and as we know, that went pretty quickly from consoling to more than that. They went on a date and had a lot of time together. He knew that Angela wasn't sure what she was gonna do with Corey. So he tried maybe to back a little bit off, but Angela kept calling him and asking if they should meet up and hang out, and in the end they did. He was honestly he was happy that she chose him, because she had been such a big help for him to accept the death and not putting any bad feelings onto Peyton's, most importantly. So they got engaged and they got married and they ended up moving in together, where their two kids really had a good time together and they were so good friends. And when Dirk saw that, he was like, yes, this is perfect. This is what needed to happen. And they ended up moving into this house. where they got Ulrich, as we have seen before. And from there, as with Angela, everything has went really good. He has really got into his restoring cars, and as you can see, this is not the first one. The first one was blue, and he sold that because they was missing a little bit of money, and he kind of wanted to tinkering one more. So he tinkered one more. This is Angela's, and as you can see, he is already trying to make one more. He really loves making his cars. Um, so yeah, and as you can see here, he has gotten a lot of grandkids, um, and you will see with who soon, very very soon. He of course lost his sister Bria, and he is of course saddened about this, but he never really got to know either her or her brother because he was already moved out, and he never looked back after college. He just went his own way, right? So yeah, now we're just missing Ulrich, and here we have him. Yeah, a lot have happened. Ulrich, he is a romance sim, and I don't think I have given him anything else. Nope, only romance. He is quite sloppy. He's shy. He's quite active. He's really playful, and he's in the middle of grouchy and nice. In his bio, it says Ulrich just wanna live his life. He just wanna have fun and see the world and meet people. And meeting people he does, and he gets lots of attention. He just made one mistake. He fell in love, and because of that love, he went steady. But he isn't sure if he really can stay with just one. Does it? Does it need to be only one? Why not more? Where all can be happy together. I feel like Ulrich is a person that would fit really perfectly in an open relationship. Sadly, the the guy he fell in love with, as I told you about, Sam broke, wanted to be just those two. And Ulrich knew this when he went steady with him, but he just really loved Sam so much that he went into the relationship. And in college, he regrettably got caught cheating. And I feel like he is really, I know he's feeling bad about it. Um, Not so much what he did, but that what he did hurt Sam so much because again he really loved him. So I feel like he would someday, at some point, try to reconcile with Sam. Not necessarily go into a relationship again, but reconcile with him and apologize for hurting him so much, because he knows how hard Sam's sexuality is for him and how hard love in general is for Sam. So, and Ulrich is, by the way, bisexual. So he goes both ways. In his memories, we can see here. I actually thought he would have a lot more, but like when he went to the bowling hall, everyone was swooning over him. Everyone thought he was so, like you can see here, so many high balls with like all the people. So many find him so attractive, and I feel like he just enjoyed that attention and feel like, oh, that's nice. And for him being the last child, he got a lot of love at home, and he loves his siblings and his parents, and like things are just great for him. He doesn't need much more. He's just living life, and for him it kind of feels like people just fall into his arms anyway, so what is he gonna do about it? um he of course ended up going steady with Sam, as I told you before, in Sam's part of the story. He wasn't too happy about it himself, but he said yes because he actually really loved Sam. He just hoped that their relationship could have been an open relationship because he still loves Sam to this day. Even though I don't think it says, but in my head, he really loves Sam still. And just hope that they could have had that open relationship that would have worked for him. He went on a vacation just before he went on, into college. And before he went to college, he had a woohoo with Willow. He even fell in love with her, which means that he, of course, has that was an affair. I actually don't know why they stopped being steady. I guess that's a mistake. They shouldn't have stopped being. Oh yeah, because when okay, even though they went to college together, the going steady thing got removed when they moved into college. But yeah, he doing all of this, of course, mean that he was cheating on Sam already before college, even though he tried not to. But he just want to love people. He doesn't really want to do any. Like, it's not to hurt others, and that's why doing this is not good. He shouldn't have stayed steady with Sam. He should just have been, how can you say it? He should just have been honest from the start and said, "Well, I'm gonna see other people. We can be together, but I'm gonna see other people." In college, he saw other people. Even though he went on dates, he saw other people. This is one of the dormies, but Nico Stark is apparently someone he still have a crush on. I feel like I hadn't seen that coming, but I feel like it's an interesting pair. And that was not even when he was he was caught. He was also had an affair there, but I guess this has been when Sam was on in classes and stuff like that and wasn't around. But finally, he got caught, and Sam didn't take it well at all. He got really, really mad. And then college ended. He moved back home, and his aunt died. So it hasn't been the easiest life for him. Well, it has been a quite easy life for him, but the last part has been a roller coaster, and we will see where it ends up. I feel like he would be the perfect romance sim, but I feel like he will try to make sure that everyone knows that he is not a romance sim that wants a partner. He wants an open relationship if he's able to find one. So I think that's gonna be his mission from now on. Is gonna find that open relationship with someone, and we will see what happens. Hopefully something. I feel like it would fit him perfectly. Yeah. Here you can see how the house is looking inside. They of course have a dog who is at work at the moment. Dirk is a fortune sim, so he tries to find every way to make money. And as you can see, it's going quite well for them. This is the house. This was from one of the days where I was this much. I cared to decorate this much. This is a lot for me, so I feel like that's quite good. Ulrich's bedroom is untouched, and I feel like that's quite good for him. So yeah, this is the Dreamer household. That was all I had for you guys for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!